Going back into region, going to be playing in Region 8A this year. You all have played a region schedule before, but you've been out of it for a few years. Has preparation been different? Has the mentality of your team, your coaching staff been different?
You know, in some ways, yes, some ways, no. I think everybody's in the back of our mind, the schedule's going to be tougher. And so maybe that's helped us kind of be a little more intense and stuff. But really, we just kind of going about our business, doing the same thing we've been doing every year we've been here. And hopefully that process has gotten a little better each year. But we hadn't made a big deal about it. But I think in the back of our minds, we're all looking forward to it.
The competition going to be higher simply because you're competing for something, a region title or region standings, things of that nature. I know the kids have to be really pumped to actually be playing for something this year.
Yeah, I think so. And we got a great group of seniors. We have mentioned it's an opportunity to do something we've never done before. Mm-hmm. And I think that's appealing to a lot of the guys and a lot of people. But we have a chance to maybe a playoff spot or something like that. We've never had the opportunity. Well, we've never done that before. So to be one of the first is kind of a cool thing.
2 years ago, you have the best season in program history. Last year fell off a little bit, but mainly that was due to inexperienced youth on your team. But the last 4 games, you improved defensively, you improved offensively. 42 points in 2 of the last 4. You're only giving up a little over 7 in each of the last 4, whereas you've been giving up 35 in the first 5. How do you build on the momentum of those last 4 games? How did that carry y'all into the offseason?
Pretty well. And hopefully, we've always kind of been a slow starting team a little bit. We probably don't do as much in the summer as a lot of schools do due to we got so many multi-sport athletes. So we've really finished well the last 4 or 5 years, and we're going to need to finish well because we play the top teams in the region the last 5 games, historically the top teams in the region. And but I think it's going to build on, and hopefully we'll continue that precedent.
I want to get into a little bit of the intricacies of the team. If you could point to a strength, a weakness that going in you think this year's squad has in both regards, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses?
Well, we've got 28 on the team right now, and so one of the weaknesses that stands out, and it's always been, is a little lack of depth. So we do have that issue. We probably have more speed this year than we've had collectively. We've got about 5 or 6 guys that can run, and so that's kind of exciting. Speed is one thing you can't really teach, and all those attributes that it brings. But we got some good some seniors that have been with us for 4 years, and a 4-year senior is a big deal, especially in our program. It's a big deal, and those guys are incredible kids, and so that's a huge strength for us.
Starters on offense, how many do you have coming back, and who are the guys that you point to? And you mentioned those senior leaders. Who are the guys that you point to and say, okay, they're going to be our key cogs?
Yeah, well, the 4, one's a quarterback, David Abey, and he played some last year at quarterback. We had a dual quarterback system. At one point, we had a 3 quarterback system, but it was a little rare. But he's going to step in, and then we've got 3 linemen right there: Mitchell McIntyre, Jack Leipold, and Kyle Larson, and those are the 4-year guys, and so we expect those guys to really lead us. Of course, they're going to be playing every snap on defense too, so but they're ready for it. I mean, it's just part of the deal. We don't whine about it and complain about it. It's just part of the deal. And we got some guys, some new guys I think that are coming that can really that can run. We got a Tay Turner, we got Jaden Reed coming out for the first time. So we're looking forward to see what happens.
What's the conditioning like? Because other programs don't have to, unless you're talking about a Riverside or really, frankly, other single-A programs.
Right.
You don't get the two-way players at Gainesville, at Flowery Branch, and even at Chestatee. So what's the conditioning like? What do you all do to prepare them for that?
Well, it's funny. We don't run a lot after practice. You'd think we would, but the guys are not very idle during practice either. I mean, they are always moving, always. There's no, when we go, there's very few people standing around. So we feel like we can condition them through practice without having to run a ton of sprints. We run some, but we don't run as much as people might think we do to get them in shape. We just hope our tempo of practice and the fact that we have so few, they don't get much rest anyway. So it really gets them ready to play a game.
I'm sure that they like not having to do sprints. That's always an athlete's.
Always a good thing.
Yes. The worst practice days are the ones that entail sprints. Offensive style staying the same?
Well, we're open. We're actually opening up a little bit. We're going to be shotgun. We went to the shotgun towards the end, and we'll probably throw it a little bit more this year. And so we're going. So it's going to be a little more spread look like. I mean, everybody says the spread now, so I guess we can qualify as that. We'll still be run oriented, but we're going to throw it a little bit, and so it should be maybe more fun to watch. I don't know, but.
What got you to the point that you wanted to, quote, open it up some instead of just,
Yeah, it's we just kind of got in the mentality we're going to take our best athletes and put them here and snap it to them, let them run and throw. And that's a very simple mentality, but that's kind of what we've got to. We're going to take the ones that run the best, put them back here, and they're interchangeable because we haven't had many four-year guys where we could develop an option quarterback all 4 years. So we may get a guy that's a junior or senior, and we got to stick him in there. So we got to make sure we got to simplify it in that aspect. And so it worked well towards the end. We had a kid who, he rushed for almost 1,000 yards, and he wasn't a quarterback, but we had to put him there, and he did great.
When you think key losses, and you just mentioned a 1,000-yard rusher, and that's pretty darn good. Well, key losses coming into this season. Who are the guys that you're going to miss the most?
Yeah, we had Jackson Strickland. I mean, he was, he was probably 5'7", I don't know, but one of the toughest kids I've ever coached. And he rushed just under, and this is in 7 games. So in one game he didn't play. So he averaged almost 200 yards a game in the last 4 games. So he's going to be a huge one. And we missed some linemen. We've Paul Avery and Chase Unger. We had some pretty good linemen that we missed. But definitely Jackson's one of the big ones.
You talk on offense, you're spreading it out, going to have a little more fun defensively. What's the scheme look like, and who are your returning starters, and what is overall the defensive mentality?
Well, it's, that hasn't changed much. We're looking, I guess from a scheme, a little more 3-4 kind of deal. I think a lot of people are doing that. But our main guys are really, we got Chris Ball back. He's going to be a third-year senior. He's back as a middle linebacker, and we've got those linemen that I mentioned before, and then David Abe. But we play. It's a very simplistic defense, but our guys play pretty hard, and it's just and we take pride in how well we tackle. So.
Well, that's always good when you can tackle well.
Yes,
right?
it
That's
is.
Sort of the point.
We work on it. Yep.
I always love it when you talk about your staff, because you and your staff have a really good time together, or at least you seem to.
Yeah.
That could be just putting on show for us outsiders. Yeah. But talk a little bit about your staff coming in this year, and most importantly, a guy you've got on the offensive side of the ball in Holton Carswell, who's doing some pretty special things around here.
Yeah, he is. He's basically the guy who's running our offense right now. He's going to be the guy. He's kind of created this thing. You got to have a young guy to do that, right? So he's amazing. Coached him in the 10th grade, and he's been with us, I think, ever since. And he's just one of those special type kids. But yeah, he's kind of created this thing, and it's been cool to kind of coach him, and then now give him more responsibility and just kind of see how he has grown as a player than now as a coach and a person. That's pretty gratifying to see that.
Taking over play calling duties, do you ever feel the need to do that just because you have a little more experience? That
remains to be seen, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. I trust him. I think it's certainly will give opinions here and there, but yeah, I don't see any reason for it. I need to get out of the way, actually. I think that would be a great thing for our program.
You got a scrimmage coming up next Friday, which would be August the 14th, and then you open up the season August 29th with East Jackson. Mm-hmm. What are you hoping to see from your team in the scrimmage, but more importantly, the improvement between the scrimmage with Banks County, the first game with East Jackson?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Banks County. They're a 3A school, and so they're going to be bigger and have more kids, and I think it's going to give our kids a good taste of what it really is. And So I hope the improvement, like you say, I mean, you get great improvement from that scrimmage to week 1, and we got 2 weeks there. But man, I'm just I hope they're big, and I hope and I think they will be. I mean, I think Banks County's always pretty big, and they'll be well coached, and it'll be man, we can learn so much. I hope we make some mistakes, and I hope we learn, because I think our kids will learn, and have a desire to improve before we play East Jackson.
I want to wrap up where we started, Coach Gruen, and ask you specifically as the head coach. This program's been your baby, and you started it still here. You've cultivated great talent. You've cultivated a competitive program. And going into a Region 8A schedule now, again, you've been out for a little while. How excited are you specifically, not your staff, not your players, but you specifically, to be able to coach these guys up to possibly earn your way into the playoffs or earn, just a good overall season, as it were? Yeah,
it's, as a competitor, which we all coaches are. We all have that competitive desire, and we want to have the chance to play. And so the last 4 years have been great, but it's time, and so I'm ecstatic. Looking forward to the challenge. It's going to be a huge challenge, but we got a group of coaches and a group of kids. We're not going to back down. If we're successful on the scoreboard or not, I can guarantee you we won't back down.
Fantastic. Always a pleasure talking to you. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.